Woohoo! All right. What's up, everybody? Good to be live. Maybe we'll have problems. We'll see. Gotta go to my YouTube channel so I can see comments and whatnot. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Here we go. My channel. Doesn't notice I'm live yet. That's okay. All in good time. Oh, hey. We hit 17,000 subscribers. Nice. Thanks, guys. That's awesome. I haven't actually really paid that much attention to my subscriber count. Videos. Come on, live stream. I'm waiting for the live stream to show up in my feed so I can join the, look at the live chat. Oh, some reason it's not doing it. That's okay. That's okay. There we go. Alright, found it. Sweet! Okay. So, I'm going to go into Discord, share the join. Let's see, where's the join link in Zoom? Invite, copy URL. Go to Discord. Wicked. So now I gotta figure out what to talk to you guys about. So, let's see. I actually didn't come very prepared today because I overslept. Mastermind group on eBay, and then sometimes there's Calendly. Any problems anymore. Recently I made some videos I'm really happy about. So if I go into my channel videos, I will show you. One is a conversation I had with Reiss, the entrepreneur, and that was super, super, super fun. Reiss is another YouTuber, right? So I did this conversation here, and we just talked about like the role that YouTube has played in our lives, the problems that we've faced, how to deal with some of the emotions of being a YouTuber, the opportunities that YouTube presents, all this kind of stuff. It was a really, really fun conversation. If you don't know who Reiss is, he runs a YouTube channel called Reiss the Entrepreneur. Reiss the past couple months, like let's see, if we look at subscribers, oh, we can't go past 30 days. That sucks. In one day, he gained 1.5 thousand subscribers. That's insane. That is like in 10 days his YouTube channel, because we have a pretty similar looking the best, not necessarily wearing the best clothes, not any fancy cars behind us, no tuxedos, these kind of things, right? But it's a really good channel. I really encourage you guys to check him out. He's a really fun guy to talk to too. He reaches out to a lot of smaller YouTubers. Like at first I wasn't expecting him to actually get back to me about doing a call, but he did. And then I looked at like he's done 12 interviews with other YouTubers who are way smaller. Like we're talking about YouTubers with like 8 subscribers or 20 subscribers. So he really like actually cares about helping other YouTubers get started. And I think that is really, really admirable for sure. How are we doing? Okay, stream's health is okay. Awesome. But yeah, so I can share a bit about what's going on with my YouTube channel. So we did that video, and so you can find that video on my YouTube channel. I also have a video coming out tomorrow all about Skillshare. And so Skillshare has been going super, super well. I earned $1,200 in my first 60 days on Skillshare, and I wasn't expecting it to go that well. Like I really genuinely the referral system in Skillshare. So that video is coming out. And this video, I actually like, I was in a really good mood, like really, really charismatic, positive, encouraging, motivated. Like I listened to the video afterwards and I was like, nice. That went really well. I actually edited the video. I did loop cuts. So like, whoa, I'm making some edited videos, guys. That's new for me. It's been, it was really fun. I was up kind of late last night working on this video. That's one of the tricky things, to be honest, about YouTube is that, like, for me at least, a lot of my video creation is all about being in the right mood and having an emotion that I want to share with people. And it's kind of hard to predict when that's going to happen. Because I find that I go through phases where I don't feel like recording video, right? Like maybe for a week or two. And then I go through phases where in like 2 days I make like 15 videos. And so it's like I'm able to have regular content by scheduling it ahead of time. But the way that I create content itself, like if I had to create the content and publish it as soon as it got created, I would really struggle to do something every other day, like really struggle. But because I'm able to just post ahead of time, that enables me to have content coming out really regularly, even though I might not necessarily be recording regularly. And I'm still wanting to do the 2-minute tutorial thing, but I haven't really gotten around to that yet. I have all the ideas, so I just need to record them and schedule them to get it started, but I haven't done that. I've also been toying with the idea of taking like a week or two break from YouTube, but not like an actual break from recording, just a break from publishing videos, because then it gives my audience like time away from my videos, so then they're more likely to watch the next one. But I don't know if I'd actually be able to follow through with that and do it. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't actually be able to be honest. I would feel like making a video. And it's hard for me to not make videos. Like genuinely, it's quite hard because when I stop recording, I start getting like kind of depressed, and I feel like there's this big hole in my life, and that's no good, right? Bum 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 bum. All right, so what else has been going on with YouTube? I'm just gonna keep talking about YouTube until somebody joins or asks a question or something unforeseen happens. So let's see. The Skillshare stuff has been a really effective way to monetize the YouTube channel. So let me show you some comparisons. If we go to my YouTube channel, and then I go to my analytics, you can see that ad revenue-wise, I'm barely earning anything anymore from YouTube. That's because I stopped making like all the dropshipping videos, so my ad revenue, like, at its peak, my ad revenue was like $520. And all of these numbers were better. Like, obviously, because I don't make dropshipping content anymore, and most of my audience was established through dropshipping, my YouTube channel isn't growing as much. But I was bothered by that at first. But now, to be honest, like, I'm not really that fixated on like growing the subscriber number. Because my life, the quality of my life is like super, super, super awesome. I'm really, really happy. And like, I'm starting to understand that YouTube plays a part in my life, but I don't have to make YouTube my whole life. Like, YouTube is going to grow, and with time, I'll do something super interesting, and my audience will get bigger. But for now, like, I'm just focusing on what I need as an individual to be at my very, very best. And it's been going really well. Like, I feel so much more able to work. I feel much more able to work effectively and efficiently. Oh, hey, there we go. That's a concept I can talk about. Okay, here we go. Drink my water, and now I'll share a concept with you guys that's useful and relevant. Woo! It's funny doing these calls and having to, like, keep talking while nobody's here and then hoping somebody shows up, that kind of thing, right? But I understand because, like I said, I was big into dropshipping, and that's how I established my audience. And I don't want to just do dropshipping stuff, but my whole audience is about dropshipping. So it makes sense that the YouTube channel isn't growing as quick because I'm still finding the new thing to do, which essentially is Skillshare, right? But anyway, the topic I want to talk about now is working hard, okay? There is a lot of, from my perspective, bullshit about what it takes to actually change your life and improve the quality of your life. A lot of influencers and guru people like myself, they place so much emphasis on hustling and working your ass off and working all day and putting in the hours. And you have to be really careful about that. Because if you get addicted to working hard, you're screwing yourself. We live in a world where most working humans work incredibly hard and they never get compensated properly for their time. It is completely possible for you to perceive that you have to work all day to be successful and then spend all of your time working. Neglect the people that you love, neglect yourself. That is very common, like super common. And especially now that I've met more people like this, more people who have these self-employed jobs, these self-employed lifestyles, but they're not any more free than somebody who's employed by somebody else because they are working all the time and constantly. And the funny thing is, you literally don't even have to be that way. The problem is that you have to make sure that your mentality allows you to just work a little bit. It's way, way better to work smart, not hard. Again, the whole world, most working people work super hard and they are not properly compensated for their time. Most humans have spent most of their lives working for other people, not making their own lives better. At least not as much as they're making other people's lives better, right? You have to be really, really careful. And really, what sucks is that we are our own obstacles. And when it comes to changing your life, it's not about working all day, like working on something for 8 hours, 10 hours. When you want to say that you worked on something for 8 hours or 10 hours, I really encourage you to reflect at yourself and try and understand why only want to work that much so that we can tell other people and have them feel like we are changing our lives and doing the work and putting in the time. But think about that, because you are spending a lot of time to try and convince somebody else to feel a way about you. That has nothing to do with your own success or your own work. Your own work comes from you identifying things that makes your future better and you doing it. It has nothing to do with what other people work. We want to impress people around us. So we want to be able to say, oh yeah, I worked on that for 10 hours. Whoa, you know? But in reality, you could have worked on it for 2 or 3 hours really effectively for every day for a couple days and probably gotten more done than if you just sat and tried to burn something out for 10 hours straight. And me personally, like, I can't work on stuff for that long. Hey, somebody joined. What's up, JC? Is this Jamie? I don't know. Maybe not hearing any audio or video is because when I've tried to do chats with Jamie outside of Google, this has happened before. I don't know who this is. Oh, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Jack?
I can. It is Jamie. Hey.
Long time no speak.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, nothing's been going on. I'm glad you're standing up for the proletariat here, Jack. Very much so on the same side of that spectrum. Please continue. I'm very engaged.
Oh, man. Well, I was just trying to fill up the empty space before somebody joined.
Right.
Yeah, but that was just a rant about... Just ranting about working smart versus working hard. And we have somebody in the chat.
In game development, that's a big issue, you know. And then the game development scene, everyone just works themselves to death, like true death, and wappy. to make a great game. Yeah. Is it worth it? No. It's literally ending
No.
people's lives. People attempt suicides working on epic games and stuff. It's depressing, but ultimately, you know, what else would you be at?
Yeah,
Jack, what else?
I think we can talk about video games.
Oh, we can. Yeah, we'll talk about video games. Although I don't know if your people will want to talk about video
Jamie,
games.
these live streams, like at the most 7 people at a time will watch these live streams. So
Seven's a big number. Think of all the numbers
7 is
lower
not
than
a big
7.
number.
There's a good number of them.
When I used to do like drop shipping Q&As, when my audience was like a third the size, there would be between like 10 and 60 people listening.
Right.
So 7, it really isn't. Like, there's a few dedicated people who really like the vibe and watch these live streams, but they are not popular at all. For me, it's just a way to connect more with the people who are in my audience, who are willing to like join the call and show their faces, which represents a very, 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 very small percent of my audience.
Niche. Yeah. And you've got Hitchman Mestini
Yeah.
here, of course.
Yeah, he's our one
whom I
commenter.
butchered, and I apologize sincerely for that. How are you, and where are you from to have such a cool name? My name's boring, it's just Jamie. Although my initials are JC, and that's way cooler. So, who's the locals? Who's the typical people in the chat?
Yeah, I think the typical people are like people who caught on to me because of drop shipping, so they're drop shippers themselves, but they're open-minded enough to still want to follow me even though I don't drop ship. So I would imagine Hisham is an example of that, but you can let us know, Hisham. Like, how did you come across? Why are you here right now? Jamie just asked, like, where are you from? Feel free to answer these questions.
Yes, very curious, and ultimately, maybe it's just a stop, Jack. I too do that. I spent a good couple days my week stalking Jack before I further interacted with him. So we're not judging here. We're not judging. Of course, if you start taking pictures of him off the internet and cutting his eye holes out, there might be a lawsuit. You don't need to show us.
I bet he's Moroccan.
You know.
Most of the people who follow me are Moroccan. Which is funny because I don't know
Do you
Arabic.
Do you find that because of your YouTube, like where you are country-wise, it affects the YouTube algorithm for you, and you typically get more people from your own country that you wouldn't typically?
I don't think it actually matters where you upload the videos from.
It does. For example, PewDiePie was able to accumulate such numbers as a result of his location, primarily, although the algorithm has changed significantly from there, although they wished to put people in similar regions as to allow better communication because you're going to be more understandable in your own area. So PewDiePie had the advantage of being very central in Europe, thus having all of the major networking points across Europe to expand his audience. I don't know if it still affects it as greatly nowadays. I know in the US, it's just if you're a US
YouTuber,
Jeff. You're the same. What's your stick, Jeff? What do you do?
He might not have audio and stuff set up yet.
Oh. Well, that's okay. Maybe one day, Jeff.
Usually it takes people like a minute or two after they join. It's pretty typical.
Yes, I was looking around for it. I was expecting to have to like go in and download the app or something, but no, it's simple enough.
Can you hear us, Jeff?
Never respond. Okay,
no, he didn't.
Hurt? Really? Hurt? Like, I don't know if I even be in this call, Jeff. It's quite devastating.
Oh, Zach.
I just wanted to make a friend. Oh.
Whoa, 4 people. Holy crap. This call's never had 4 people in it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Make a friend.
Okay.
Oh.
Whoa, 4 people. Whoa. Holy crap. This call's never had 4 people in it. There is a feedback loop. with somebody.
Whoa, 4 people.
Whoa.
Holy crap.
Yeah, Jeff. Do you happen to have headphones by chance, Jeff? Because so in your speakers we can hear the audio from the call, and then your microphone's also picking this up, so it's creating a loop.
So in your speakers.
So I just muted you because I don't want to listen to myself talking over and over.
A loop.
That's not for me.
I think it is. Yeah. Do you have headphones or anything that you can use?
That's not for me.
Yeah, Jeff.
Can you hear me now?
I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, Jeff.
Quiet, so.
Hello.
How's that?
Nice.
Can you hear me
Hey!
now?
No more loops. Yeah, I can hear you, Zach, and I can hear you, Jeff, and I can't hear myself. Perfect.
Hey,
Yeah.
who'd want to
Just
listen to you
want
anyway,
to
Jack?
say a quick thanks to Jack for all the videos you make. It motivates a lot of people.
Anytime, man.
Most of it's lots of people. What?
He said thanks for the videos. It
Right.
motivates a lot of people.
Yes, that is very true, Jack.
Right now,
Yes,
we're working as a team on a Shopify shop.
Yeah, you're
So,
doing Shopify dropshipping.
Oh, nice one.
yeah, we're working as a team, so it's not a one-man job, and it goes a lot quicker this way.
So what's it been like on Shopify? I know a bit about it, but I've never actually like made my own Shopify store or done any of that.
Okay, the main issue now is customizing the theme, the graphic theme.
Hmm.
Takes kind of a lot of work to configure it as you want it to be. It's not as easy as which it would be. There's a lot of menus and colors.
Here's the fact that you come up with the same problem my artist had, and that's that the template enforces so much that if you really want to change it to the way you want it to look, it's really awkward because there's just so many things that are enforced in the way it lays out and stuff. Did you go to the code level? Or did you?
Yeah, even without going in the code level, there's so many things.
Yeah. We're actually somewhat still in the process of just touching things up with it because we want to be really clear then to be not like upwards of like 2 weeks for it. We could have got it set up in a day, don't get me wrong, it's simple enough. It's just you really want to get it precise.
Yeah, the thing is you
Keywords.
can start with a shop that's not even customized, just a basic shop, black and white. But it's very ugly. You want the best for the customers, for the visitors. You don't want them to feel like it was a quick work done just to get the money.
Yeah, it's got to be a fun experience. So what's the
Yeah.
plan to deal with traffic? How are you gonna get people to come to your Shopify store?
Oh, well, it grows. You have two ways. The first way is that you pay Facebook and Google ads. Also, other social media, you create pages on Instagram, Facebook, and you can also play on the SEO, search engine optimization of Google. So you create a blog on Shopify, and you put a lot of keywords on the articles in the blog. So the purpose of that is to have your ranking on Google come up. So when people look for a keyword of your shop, they might come upon your store in the first page of Google. And the second way is organic traffic, just normal traffic. That one, it comes with time.
Do you utilize any kind of software or algorithm or whatever for assessing the trends of the products that you intend to sell or the keyword trends? What do you utilize?
Well, I'm a beginner at this. So what I did
Right.
was I went to Google Trends. Then
Yes.
the thing is, you don't really have, you can't really see what's trending in the world because there's a lot of niches. Just one and hope for the best, I think.
Well, it is potentially feasible to have every Shopify store's sales calculated. If you could, in theory, get a list of every Shopify store, you could have a system set up where you monitor the best selling things, and then you keep looking at that list based off of the alterations of where items move up and down. You can predict sales, and then you could utilize that concept to get keyword information, all selling products, all of your competitors simultaneously, allowing you to have a better idea as to what keywords are selling and what is being utilized right then and there to get things up. Was our
This
idea.
is some kind of advanced stuff.
So,
I think in the beginning, you just kind of hope for the best.
keep going.
We're using trends as well to still get the basic information for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so something that I've been learning about that might be relevant to those of you who are interested in Shopify dropshipping is marketing through Instagram. Just because Instagram is such a powerful tool. It is insane. And it's not that complicated to establish a following on Instagram. For example, okay, in the call, you guys are still seeing my face, but on the stream, they'll see my screen. And so if you go to Skillshare, for example, Skillshare has tons of courses about Instagram marketing. I've taken like 3 or 4 different courses. It's one of the categories that are very there's a lot of options for courses on Skillshare related to Instagram marketing because Skillshare has
Do you have an Instagram page?
I do, but I don't I really don't like spending much time on social media. It clouds my brain and makes it's complicated. And Instagram is really you don't have to spend a lot of time. You can program everything. So you sit down once a week for an hour or 2 and you schedule out all of your posts using automation tools. So you can work around that. But personally, for some reason, I just have a hard time wrapping my head around Instagram because I don't use it personally. And that's kind of if you want to market it, you gotta use
stories.
it.
I can't understand people who make stories every day.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine having that life where your life is so boring that, the only way you're finding cravings in it is to get a small amount of likes from every post that you put up.
That's gotta
Jack.
be a mental illness.
So Jeff, how have things been going?
Pretty good. So I'm doing doing drop shipping on Amazon and eBay, and it's going really well. I'm having growing pains because I might be growing too fast, and I'm continually, I have to slow it down a little bit. I have to put a governor on my engine to keep it
stable,
manageable. Because I can get overwhelmed, and if I get overwhelmed, then my metrics will fail, and then I'll be kicked off the platform. So it's just one of those things that it's not everybody succeeds with Amazon. It's not because they're not making sales; it's because they can't keep up. When Amazon starts throwing sales your way, if you get so many, you have to front the money to buy all these products first, and then once you do that, then you get your money back maybe in a few days if you're using payability, but then if you're not, then it's every 2 weeks.
Yeah, so for those of you guys listening, when you're drop shipping on Amazon, you get paid out every 2 weeks. So it's not like on eBay where they use PayPal and you get the money straight away. And there's a service that you can use called Payability, which enables you to get paid earlier, sort of. But you still have to deal with the fact that when you get that first sale, you have to process it out of your own pocket without being given money by the customer.
That's right. And sometimes, and they don't give you the whole thing. They only give you like 80% of it. So, when we're talking about big numbers, like really huge numbers, and you're like, I got to get this thing out. And I tell my VAs, you've got to comb this list of unshipped orders, and as soon as you have a tracking number, for God's sakes, upload it so that I can get paid the next day from payability and have money to buy new things and new products, and but it's growing exponentially. It's doing well. It's just I just got to keep up with it and not
Gotta control
get
it.
overwhelmed. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
Jeff,
So-
are you drop shipping on Shopify?
No, I haven't. I have 2 dormant Shopify stores. I took Anton's course a couple of years ago, and I paid like over $1,000 for his course. So I still have that, and I got started with that, but then that kind of fell by the wayside because I was overseas, and then as far as what they teach is going to like real suppliers, and talking with them during business hours and trying to establish relationships and get agreements to sell their products. So it never came to fruition for me, but I have that on the back burner. I have my stores, Shopify stores dormant right now, and they're like I have I pay like $12 or $13 a month to keep them semi-active, so that if I go back to it, all my work I can go right where I left off at.
What platform do you use?
What's that?
What platform do you use for your dropshipping business?
When you I use eBay and Amazon. I drop ship on eBay and Amazon. Is that what you're
Okay.
asking? Or
Yeah.
yeah. So I want to go. I want to it is a good thing. I mean, I think that if I remember correctly, Jack took David Wu's course, and Paul J. Lipsky was one of the people that I got a course from that really worked.
Dropshipping titles.
Everybody seemed to have gotten started with David Wu's course on Udemy. That's how I heard about Jack, because Jack was like, I heard the people in the comment section was like, well, David Wu tries to steer people in the Home Depot, area, and Jack was the Walmart expert. And it's like, there's a whole bunch more things that are of interest to me on Walmart than there is in Home Depot. But now that I'm more experienced, I know that there's probably about an equal number of viable, product opportunities on both. But as far as Shopify, I plan on going back to it, and I plan on doing private label, because those are more legitimate businesses. When you're doing drop shipping, you're kind of operating on the fringe.
yeah.
Paul
Lipsky, he is an attorney. He actually, I had checked him out. I had Googled him and I checked him out, and he was actually, I found a YouTube video from several years ago, and this guy was the class Victorian of his law school class. So I feel a little comfortable knowing that, that what we're doing is legal, but it's still, it's against the terms of service for, both technically eBay and Amazon, and they can basically, and Paul had a great video. I don't know which one it is, but he had a great video where he broke down the exact language, and he says, we may, well, they, to be honest, they can terminate your account at any time. I had my Amazon account suspended last year for 5 weeks because of I started doing FBA sales, and I introduced some brand name items, some shoes, and it triggered an inauthentic complaint, and it was like took 5 weeks to sort all that out, and I basically got
gets froze.
Everything. It was like I was making like over $1,000 a month in profit, and it just came to a complete stop. It's like they just pushed the stop button, and everything was frozen. And then when it was all, I had gotten what was called the final word, which is basically, we may not respond to further emails regarding this issue. And I'm like, oh shit. And then I had hired a reinstatement service, and that was $500, but they did a good job. They said, well, keep going, keep writing to these different people. They gave me different addresses, different, contacts. And then suddenly one day after 5 weeks, I didn't think it was I thought, oh, okay, well, it's probably a lost cause. I got an email from Amazon that said, it said, we decided that you may sell again on Amazon. If you have any questions, review our terms of service. Regards. And it's like, oh, shit. You know, I haven't had a problem, knock on wood, since, but, you know, there's a, you know, that taught me that, you know, like, I need to focus my mind and not just be on one thing, you know.
Yeah, it's tricky.
That's why Jack has got me interested in Skillshare, and maybe even like this weekend, I was even thinking about, I was making my list because I scheduled a meeting with Jack, a private one-on-one, you know, with $20. I scheduled that, which I was making my questions out, and then I saw that it was live. I'm like, oh wow, shoot. Some of these questions I don't mind asking in a public forum. But I'm even thinking, like, well, Jack's got me thinking about YouTube. And Jack, to be honest, I see your videos. You get usually about 30 to 50 views per video. Is that right on average? But is YouTube viable? Is it a viable income? How do you make all that work? How do you make money?
So YouTube alone is tricky to earn money from. But YouTube combined with something else is often an amazingly lucrative combination. Because essentially all online income, there's laws, right? Like gravity is a law, right? We have to listen to gravity. We can't not listen to gravity. It's just how it is on this planet, right? So there's other laws about online income. For example, if there is online income, like if you're getting money from online work, that means two things. It means there is a product and there is traffic. So if you can be a person who provides traffic, even small amounts of traffic, that is key, because then you can stop paying other people to give you traffic. Typically, people have products or they use other people's products and then they pay services to get traffic. They pay ads, they pay other YouTubers, whatever. So when you are creating your own content, you're establishing an audience. Even like in my case, I don't have that much traffic, but I'm able to give people a little bit of traffic. I'm able to direct traffic on the internet, not to a huge level at all, but that has allowed me to monetize things. For example, Skillshare. If it wasn't for my YouTube channel, I would be earning like $30 to $50 a month on Skillshare at the moment, right? Whereas because of my YouTube channel, I'm earning $700 a month from Skillshare because of the traffic going to Skillshare. Awesome. And YouTube plays a role as a catalyst. That's how I think about it. You can use YouTube to make everything else that you do more lucrative, and sometimes it only takes one connection to change everything. So even if you have a video that only gets 50 views in its whole life, if one of those views reaches out to you, contacts you, sometimes that's all you need to move forward.
Wow. So how do you launch? I mean, you just turn on and I took your course on Skillshare about starting the YouTube channel, but it's like you're singing to an empty stadium. There's nobody. You're making a video and they're making these videos and there's nobody else. You have no audience. So how do you build that
Jack was
audience?
A smart man. He had gimmicks prepped. He was planned. Isn't that right, Jack? What was your concept going forward?
Oh, with YouTube? With the drop shipping stuff, it was easy to make videos. One, knowing that nobody's watching them, and two, like also knowing that people could be watching them, which is super intimidating. But really, like, the act of making the videos is what gets you through that. And it's not about getting watched in the very beginning. Like, for example, if I go to, so right now I'm showing something on the screen for the live stream. So I'm going to YouTube and I'm going to Reiss, the entrepreneur's YouTube channel. Okay. So this guy got big recently. Now he has 221,000 subscribers, right? Whereas if we go to his videos page and we sort his videos by date added oldest, that means we're seeing his first videos. And if you watch these videos, you can see him be like in the 8th video, he's like, yo, to my 8 subscribers, thank you guys. It's awesome. Like, now this person has 200,000 subscribers and every single one of his videos has at least 10,000 views. But in the beginning, these videos had like 5 views, maybe 10. And that is the tricky part, is being able to keep going, knowing that in the future, someday, something's going to work out. You just have to be able to keep creating that content. And so if you want to actually connect with people and really get an audience established, what you need to do is identify problems that you can present solutions for. As long as you're doing that, like as long as every video that you create has some kind of solution to some problem, then it's only a matter of time before your YouTube channel gains traction. If you're just making YouTube videos and you're not doing anything about anything, then like you're just making, like I'm making a YouTube video and I'm just saying like, oh, today I did this. I had breakfast and I ate waffles. Like maybe, you know, if I did that every day.
It's kind of aggravating because it's like there's so much, you know, there's so much just, you know, it's just like people pontificating. And I want raw information. I don't like the, you know, well, you know, you got to have the right mindset and all that. Like, okay, well, there's like a million people saying that. Like, tell me something I don't know. Give me like a source. You know, if we're going to talk about like Shopify, tell me exactly what was your recipe to, you know, to launch that Shopify store. I mean, you know, and how much are you able to make? And, you know, I want some raw information, you know, raw meat, you know, not just like this pie in the sky, esoteric, you know, you got to go out there and do it. And well, okay, well then how do I do it? You know, that's what I want to know.
So
as a subscriber, anyway, you know, as a subscriber, that's, you know, I digress, but so launching the YouTube channel, it's like, you know, you're right. This one thing is like putting myself out there. You know, I'm worried about privacy, and you know, I guess other people don't have those hangups. They really just leave it all out to bear. And you know,
now everyone has those hangups.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We just, like me, for example, I feel that way. Sometimes I feel super insecure. I don't want to, like at the beginning of every single one of these live streams, I'm always like, oh my God, only one person's watching this. But now there's 4 people I'm talking to and it's fine. Yet I wanted to stop the call. I want to be like, oh, I should go do something else. Better use of my time. I was just being impatient.
Has there been no people at all? Have you had a call like this where there's 0 people? Or
well, when I first start the call, yeah. I mean, there's always like 7 or 8 people who join, so
okay.
that's all that matters. But anyway, I wanted to include B. I don't know how to say that. Can I refer to you as B? Is that good? I think we can kind of hear you a little bit. I can't really tell because you're not muted, and I can see that your voice, you're talking, or you were talking, but I can't hear anything.
I can't hear me either.
Hey, I heard something. Can you hear me? Can hear you, but it's really soft. Like really, really, really soft.
I mean, it seems as if your sound control thing did that automatic adjustment and then it lowered it and it's locked there now. Have you tried going into your sound panel?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh, you're trying to figure out? I got the words. I got the words. I can't hear you well enough.
Not well enough?
No. Like, if you're the only one talking, then I can hear what you're saying. But if other people are talking, I have no idea that you're even saying anything.
So while he figures that out, can I ask you a question about Skillshare, Jack?
Yeah, of course.
So when people sign up, do you get like a sign-up notification? Do you know who's taking your classes? Well, not sign up off of your affiliate link, but signing up for your classes. Do you know who your students are? I mean, are you able to interact with them?
I can see who I've referred, and I think that's it. I don't think I can see who's actually taking my course unless they post or contribute something. Let me check.
And then another question is,
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How'd you find your first Amazon products to dropship?
Well, I took the course, and then I took actually several courses. I took Jack's course because Jack's got a course on drop shipping. I took 3. I took David Boo's course, which is kind of antiquated now. Jack's course, which is still updated and relevant, and Paul J. Lipsky's course. And then there was another course I'm not going to mention that I actually got a refund from. I paid like $750 for it, and it was junk. But between Paul's course and Jack's course and David Vu's course, it really taught me how to do this. And then now I have VAs, I have virtual assistants, and I have 3 VAs, and that's basically their full-time job is to find products that meet the criteria that we can get a profit for. And then we use a tool called Web Scraper App and Informed that basically go and put it in and out of stock so that we're always competing for the buy box, and we're never selling a product we're always selling and making at least a 5% profit off of what we sell. So I might make like 80,000 a month in sales, but that's not profit. Our profit would be about 5%. So that's it's not that much, but it's building. It's
building, yeah.
Staggering. It's like it's real. It's turning into even 5%, and that 5% is the front end, and then there's money on the back end, which is cash back, which you really can't you can't count on until you have it. But I won't get that for a couple of months at least. I'm starting to get some of it now, and it's a treat. It's like free money, but it's like nothing you can count on. Am I right about that, Jack? I mean, I don't know how you managed the cash back, but I think I'm not getting all of my sales registered, even when I go do everything right. Or
yeah, so it depends on your process. You can get a process down where everything gets captured. But you do have to routinely wipe your cookies and reset things to make sure that there's no kind of inconsistencies that cause orders to be missed.
Right.
For example, back when I was using Walmart, I did most of my cashback through Top Cashback and UPromise. And every time I would sit down to start my orders, I would then reset all of my cookies before I started to do the cashback process, just so that the slate was clean and there wasn't any problems. And you will find that there's some days that the cashback websites, for whatever reason, just don't work. There's times where they don't notice your orders until days later. There's times where they notice them in hours. There's a lot of fluctuation and variables, but it can be tricky to make sure all of your orders are being noticed.
Right. Jeff, do you drop ship both on eBay and Amazon, or do you drop ship on eBay from Amazon?
I do both. Yeah.
I do both.
Yes. I'm not really big on eBay.
Right.
I've had an account forever, so since 1999. So I think the
do you have an unlimited account?
I think I do.
Yeah, if you have an account on eBay created before 2004, then you don't have account limits.
I mean, I think the limits are there. It does have a numerical limit, but it's so astronomical. It's I can only hope to achieve that. And I once in a while, it doesn't say unlimited, but it might be $1 million or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And I routinely get emails. It's I'm not even close to, with all the products, the number of listings and the dollar amounts of the product. I'm not even close to that. And they keep getting emails every couple months now you may sell more. Now you can sell more. And it's eBay's happy with me. I'm paying their exuberant fees. So I've heard other people getting their stores flagged and everything, but I think the angel of flagging has passed me. I don't know that for a fact. They may come and flag me anytime. But that's the thing. That was a lesson that I learned last year with Amazon suspending me, is that I can't afford to put all my eggs in one basket. That's why I'm receptive. I'm receptive to the idea of Skillshare and YouTube and Shopify drop shipping and private label. Private label is another one I want to get involved with. But I want to learn one at a time. But at the same time, I don't want to okay, well, the Amazon thing is shut down. Now I'm just screwed, and I'm just gonna forget about my dreams and all that. That's just not gonna happen.
No, that's a very good attitude to have. Just you move on to the next thing, whatever's making it work.
Right.
Keep working.
I tell my VAs I have 5 VAs now, and I tell them Amazon's really my primary focus because that's where most of the money's made is on Amazon. But eBay is doing good too. And if something were ever happened to my Amazon account or vice versa, we can always go and throw the rest of our focus. I don't want people to lose their jobs and then if that doesn't work, then we go to Shopify. I mean, I have my Shopify stores dormant, so we're not going to fail. This is like, I'm serious. I'm then not gonna, okay. Like for a lot of people, they get their accounts banned, and unfortunately, Jack, I think you had that issue, and then another dropship piler had that issue, and it's like it's not the end of the world. It's like we just okay, shit. I mean, just go and do something else. Just it's an opportunity to go do something else. And
for me, it was a really good thing that I got banned, like really good, because I was in a yearly contract with the enterprise store to have 100,000 items, and that cost $3,000 every month. I started that contract, and then like 2 or 3 weeks later, eBay started the drop shipping flag. Like literally almost immediately as I started this year contract. And then Hydralister, the tool I was using to post all of my items, or again, I needed to post 100,000 items a month, right? They placed a limit of 4,000 items per month. So eBay started flagging everything, basically like invalidating the whole strategy I was using with this enterprise store. And my listing tool placed a limitation, so I could only post 4% of my whole store. But I still had to keep paying eBay every month. It didn't matter if I got sales or not. I was in a contract for a whole year to pay them $3,000 every month. The only way to get out of that contract is, one, you could sign out of it manually, but then you have to pay like 30% of the remaining balance for the contract, right? So $3,000 every month for the next 10 months, that's 30 grand. You got to pay like a third of that. That's almost $10,000, right? So conveniently, when you get banned, they void your contract and they void your early termination fee.
So the strategy for getting off of eBay is to fuck it over.
Yeah,
really,
yeah, and that's something that like
eBay summed up.
Well, okay, that's only in my situation with eBay with the enterprise store, and it very much like as those other things happened, I was like, should I kill my store? Like I don't have a choice. Like I have to. I didn't fully purposefully make that decision, but I definitely started becoming more negligent about certain problems because I was so overwhelmed, and I had talked to an eBay rep, and I was like, yo, what do I do? I was calling eBay. They knew I was drop shipping. I was telling them. I was being completely open and honest with them, and they kept being like I talked to one rep, and he was like, whoa, never tell us you're drop shipping. And I was like, dude, I've been telling eBay I'm drop shipping ever since I started, so like that, too late for that. And then I talked to another rep, and they're like, whoa, your account's fucking crazy. What is this? This is a crazy case study. And I'm like, but what do I do, man? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, fuck, what do I do? It was so scary, really intense. But anyway, so
I think they all know. And just this last week, I got a call. There was an issue with Costco. I had a problem with Costco where they canceled one of my orders. So one of my VAs that does customer service had reached out to them, and they wanted to speak to me directly. I'm like, okay, this can't be good. So I called Costco up, and Costco was like, Mr. Jeff, are you a reseller? I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, great. We love resellers, but we don't want you to sell the items that have free delivery with the $3 fee. He said, you can sell everything else, but don't sell the ones with the $3 fee. I'm like, okay, well, there's not. I don't have. I only had a couple items with the $3 fee. Most of the items are the big items. He said, yeah. So we love you guys. We just don't. We don't want you to sell these items. I'm like, okay, But it's just weird. They all know that you're what we're doing. I mean, I didn't believe that at first myself, but now I do. It's like eBay is making big money. Amazon is making big money. When you were telling that story, Jack, I was thinking. Maybe they probably would offer you amnesty if you wanted it, right? If you wanted to go back, you could probably get your accounts all back. They'd probably give it back to you, wouldn't they?
So in general, if you lose your eBay account, if you're well connected enough and you talk to the right people, you can get it back. In my case, I was in drop shipping in the past because I wasn't happy with the quality of my life. I wasn't able to do what I love and earn money doing it. Whereas now, like, after I got banned, I still was able to pay my bills through the course and through YouTube and other stuff. And for me, it was like, okay, this hugely stressful thing is gone, and now I have an opportunity to recreate my life and fill it with things that I love and enjoy that really resonate with me at my core. So, like, it is possible if I really pursued it and pushed it, maybe I would be able to get my eBay account back, but I don't really want to. Like, I feel like drop shipping was something really important to me and it played a big role in my life, but it's like an ex-girlfriend that, like, you know, there was a time for that in the past and it played a role, but it wouldn't be healthy now.
Wait a second. Does that mean if your ex, scenario was, you having the girlfriend that you have to go on dates with, you have to involve yourself with, and now you're just using us for the mall outfit? Does that mean I'm just a fuckbuddy?
Maybe.
Is that all I have, Jack?
We'll have to see how things play out.
Oh.
But anyway, I wanted to see. So B said that his microphone may be working now.
Amazing.
Is it? Oh, I can see the mouse moving. No luck.
Here,
Man.
Jack, one more directed question for you. Is there any service you recommend for actually putting stuff on your Amazon and managing it? If you don't answer that, that's fine. Like, I would understand why.
When you say put it on, well, we use a web scraper app. So it's very simple. It's just a Google sheet that the VAs put their items on the Google sheet, and then it's uploaded to web scraper app, and then that app takes it over. It monitors it. It takes it when the item's out of stock. It pulls it out of stock and it puts it back in stock and keeps. And then with web scraper app and Informed, it works. Informed is a separate company. Informed is changing the prices of the item in web scraper app. Takes like it in and out of stock. Lists it. You could do both with SkuGrid, but from what I hear, SkuGrid is not as efficient as web scraper app and Inform working together. I don't know. I mean, I followed a plan that was presented to me. There may be better ways to do it, and I haven't. But at first I want to do it the way this other guy has taught it, and then once I've become more familiar with it, then I say, okay. And even now, I'm beginning to do it a little bit. Like he had said that you should only list items on Amazon that have at least five or more competitors. And I'm like, no, we've been able to find very profitable products with no competitors. So, and then my VAs know a lot of stuff that I don't know. And the VAs are like, we should do scratch listings. And I'm like, oh God, that's like creating a listing that's not been there before on Amazon. Like, there's a product that doesn't have an ASIN, and we'd be the only competitor for that product. So, that's groundbreaking stuff. I mean, I like doing that, but there's always risk involved. With everything you do. But as far as the service, like there's no seemingly thing for. It's not like on eBay I use it's not what is it called? DSM tool is what I use for eBay, and I like DSM tool.
By the way,
I also use AutoDS a little bit, but they've kind of made a couple mistakes, on some of my listings. I've got, like just yesterday there was a bowl that it was supposed to be a 6-bowl set, and it was only ordering 1 bowl.
That's the Walmart problem. Oh my God. Quantity mismatch.
You probably, as a bulk lister, you probably ran into that all the time.
That was like daily for me. It would be like, Walmart says this is a 6-pack. In reality, it's a 1-pack, and the customer doesn't like that.
And how do you get around that? If you're doing it, that happens so many times. How do you resolve it?
You develop a feeling, and okay, I'm going to place this order. And Walmart says it's a 6-pack, but that price looks really good, like too good. Then I just know to not fund it in the first place, because you can usually tell, like if you get used to the prices, and like, okay, when you're a drop shipper, all of your prices are marked up and more expensive. So if you get a sale for something and you go to place it, you place the order, and you're like, wow, that seems like a really good deal. Probably not. It's probably just for one. But that was a really regular problem with Walmart for me. Like they would have 6-pack, 24-pack, and then they only send 12. And you could be like, oh, Walmart, you said you're going to do 24. Can you send the rest of them? But from their perspective, they're like, no, we just made a mistake in the listing. Just do a return and we'll refund you. They're not going to send like all the missing units out. So much easier if you prevent it from happening in the first place.
B's mic's working again. How's it going, B? What's your spiel? What's your story? Yes.
I wanted to ask you. We were talking about the Skillshare with the students. So, what makes what gives you that extra number for the student? Is it just when they listen to the first module of your course, or how does Skillshare identify a student?
So, Skillshare used to have an enlisting process or an enrolling process. So you would find a course, click enroll, and at that point you're marked as a student for the course, and then you keep going, and as you consume more of the course, the instructor gets paid per minute. Now they got rid of the enrollment option because it's pointless, really. Like it's just like people are either watching your course or not watching the course. So they do it by depending on the length of the course, it changes, but there's a minimum amount of minutes consumed by the student to be counted as a student of your course. So if you watch 1 minute of a course, you're not going to get counted as a student. But if you watch 3 minutes or 5 minutes, then you probably will be counted as a student. It doesn't affect the revenue in any way because you're like, technically, you could earn money on Skillshare. If there were 1 million people all watching your course for 1 minute, you would get paid for 1 million minutes and you wouldn't have a single student. So you don't have to be classified as a student in order to get the revenue.
I see.
Right.
And if you're listening at like double speed, do you get
It halves it. So it's about real time spent, not listed time spent.
So if we set up a bunch of free trial accounts to Skillshare and have them just automatically watch every episode of your course, we got you sorted.
I would get paid, but I could also lose my Skillshare account because that's like direct abuse.
You did it though. Who says you're doing it? Anyone could just make a buck. The Russians,
Skillshare
the Chinese,
has a history of just banning people. So Skillshare would have no problems just being like, oh, we think you're abusing it, so we're going to get rid of you, and there isn't anything I can do. Like, you can actually look on YouTube and find people who have gotten banned on Skillshare without like knowing really why. And typically you can tell in their personalities that they're like, fuck you, Skillshare, I hate you, yeah. So it kind of makes sense that they got banned. I haven't come across somebody who's like genuinely kind and interesting and patient who got banned on Skillshare, but you can find people who like are like, oh, I've been doing this course is selling really well on all these other platforms, why did you ban me? And it's like Skillshare knows that you're on other platforms and you don't actually care about Skillshare. You're just trying to sell your course there that is already selling elsewhere. And they don't really like that. They like it when you tailor your course to Skillshare. So they don't mind.
Yeah.
Like, they know that you're going to have other platforms that you're teaching on. That's pretty typical for instructors. And they're not directly against that. What they're against is copying word for word the same exact course onto Skillshare without trying to make it like in the Skillshare language, if that makes sense.
Right. So what you're saying is any bot has to be very, good, going to other channels and then going back to yours. I'll have that noted there for you, Jack. No worries. No worries. And then just slow audience growth, so like an extra 100 per week, and then till you're, at the tens of thousands to millions. I get it. Slow growth, linear curve. Is B here? Like, was it just this one little time where his mic was working, or was it?
Yeah, I keep hearing like there'll be like a what or a word, and then it gets through, and then when he's saying other things, we don't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's so it does sound like what Jamie was referencing earlier is that depending on your audio driver, for example, like when I installed a webcam a couple months ago, it put software on my computer that tries to adjust the volume of my microphone based on like ambient noise or something. And this essentially meant that my microphone was always at 10% of its full volume. So like going into that software and disabling it meant that the microphone started up again. So it could be there's some kind of software thing that is messing things up, some kind of driver. I don't know.
Jack, have you ever thought about doing like an income disclosure report? Like, some people do, like entrepreneurs, they say, I know that you recently had from Travel Like a Boss, why can't I think
Johnny
of his name
FD.
right now? Yeah, Johnny FD. So that's what he has always been doing for like since the beginning of time. Like he had his income disclosure. He started making little money, and you could see his money growing from month to month. Have you ever thought about doing that?
So I do those videos sometimes, but personally in my life, I try really hard to avoid using numbers to convince people. It's super effective, but it draws a kind of audience that doesn't necessarily Jamie's like, what the fuck? It draws a kind of audience that's more like clickbaity and less likely to resonate with like what I want at my core. And in my case, like I'm not trying to grow a huge YouTube channel. I'm just trying to be myself and use YouTube to live the life that I want. And what I found is that like in the past, like I made videos and I did income reports and that kind of thing, but I don't want people to have the impression that like, oh, I can just follow Jack and he's going to fix my problems and show me how to earn money. I like having it be, I'd rather have a few really dedicated followers who understand that I'm here to help them figure out how to fix their problems themselves than have like millions of people who follow me and want me to give them all the answers. That's like a big distinction between like Paul Lipsky and myself. Like Paul really feels that it is his role and his job to fix people's problems so that they don't have to. Whereas I don't feel that way at all. I feel that it's my job to encourage and motivate people to fix their own problems. But that's just a personal preference.
And you also probably didn't want to be part of the scene of job shippers that do YouTube videos that just have, how to get $100,000 in sales in your first week. How to never actually make profit. Just look at all these fun ways that we can list lots of things
it's funny that you bring that up actually, because one of my VAs, I send him like he picks courses for me to take, and then I take the courses and then I do a review video and I send it back to him. So I summarize the things I learned from the courses. It's like a system to get me to actually consume course content, basically, because knowing that I want to give him the video.
Nothing.
Whoa, was that?
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Yay!
I finally figured it out.
No
Was
way.
it a new sound channel?
Sorry, guys. Is it all right now?
Yeah, we can hear you clear.
That's what's up. I've been enjoying the conversation anyway, so.
Did you want to do you want to introduce yourself? Say a bit.
My name's Brian. My friends call me B. I don't know when I signed up for Zoom in the past, but that's what my name pops up as, so that's what it is. But I do eBay. Started out doing physical selling. I'm trying to transition into drop shipping as a majority of what I do, just for the simple fact of getting away from having inventory and having to do all the shipping and all that, because I want my time. I always tell people I don't want to be rich. I want to be time rich. So that's what it's all about for me. So
utilize automation to the max to give yourself more time. It's very smart.
But I do eBay, Amazon. I sell on Facebook. I just started Mercari. I got about 10, 15 sales on Mercari. So it's a mix of all different things to make one income so I can get the bills paid and not have to work a regular job. So
I love Mercari. I actually sell physically on Mercari.
Really?
Yeah. I'm basically a virtual assistant for my own Mercari account back in so I lived with my best friend one of my best friends and his fiance in West Virginia when I was in the States. So I bought a bunch of stuff and I can ship things to that location and then create the listings, and then my friend ships them out. So what I did essentially is I had all of these gift cards from Card Bazaar because people purchase gift cards and I get 1% of what they purchase. So I had to pay my taxes, and I was like, well, I got $1,000 worth of potential gift card. So how do I convert this into money quickly? So I just bought a bunch of like really high in demand video games, and it's funny because I can buy them for like $40 and sell them for 20, and as far as I'm concerned, it's income because I got the gift cards for free, and it's just a really weird situation to be in.
Well, that's creative. I mean, you got your taxes paid.
Yeah, that was. I was freaking out about that, but now I'm like in a position where I can actually like pay my taxes quarterly, and this is all new to me, guys. Like, I was not on top of things for a long time. My life was about finding information and making reckless decisions to get myself that information. That was the theme for a long time.
I'm not a tax attorney or anything, so anybody watching this is not. This is just water cooler conversation, but I think if you're out of the U.S. for 330 days, you can claim like 80,000, your first 80,000 exempt or something.
Yeah, it's a bit complicated. That's with the philosophy of you are working in a foreign country and you're being paid by like a foreign job or something. In my case, I have a U.S. business. It doesn't matter that I'm overseas. Literally, I could be anywhere in the world. It is exactly the same because the U.S. business is in the U.S. So I'm just some person.
I would, this is something that Johnny FD had on one of his. If you still have him as a contact, to reach out to Johnny FD, because I swear I thought that he's incorporated in the U.S. So yeah, it's just I don't know.
I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm saying that in my situation, because I'm registered in the U.S., that is how it is for me. But I'm not saying that that's the best way to do it. I'm fully capable of just opening a new company and switching everything into that. Like, it's not like that wouldn't hurt me in any way. It wouldn't matter. Like, technically the business I own is Gully Games. Most people don't even know what that is. Like, so, it doesn't matter at all. But I have heard a lot of that kind of stuff. Like there's ways to get tax breaks if you're working outside of the country. There's ways to increase your, what's it called? Like you have a certain amount of deduction. Yeah, to increase your deduction. That's what it is.
I'll tell you, the best thing I ever did was hiring a CPA, because I totally screwed everything up when I first started doing this. But I'm out of it now. I got my CPA and paying taxes quarterly, which makes everything harder, but I feel much better about the situation, not having to worry about a huge lump sum at the end of the year with penalties and fees and interest. I've made every mistake there is to make on just about every platform there is, but I'm trying to hammer it out and get it all to where it's legit business and people can't say that I'm just not working, because people act like you don't work when you resell. They think I'm just playing around or something.
Reiss is only made through experimentation, and you're going to have a lot of failures in experimentation.
Definitely.
Jack, do you have like a mastermind where we could all like continue to communicate? Like a Facebook page or something like that.
You're basically in it right now. I have a Discord chat that you can join if you use Discord. But I wouldn't say it's not really organized that well. Like I play much more of an effective professional role in other people's pursuits, whereas in my own things, I just want to host. I'm not trying to like for me right now, this course is exactly what I want. I don't care how many people are watching it. I'm talking to you guys. There's people from the audience that I'm connecting with and getting to know better. Like, that's what I want. That's what I care about. But yeah, I guess the combination of these calls and the Discord chat is the for some reason, like on Facebook, I cannot bring myself to check Facebook. I hate checking Facebook all the time. So I have a Facebook group, but I'm not active on it at all. Whereas on Discord,
Facebook doesn't mind checking it every day.
For whatever reason, I'm happy to check Discord. Like, doesn't bother me at all. Doesn't make sense why I care about Discord but not Facebook. But
you were starting to say that your VA had came up with these list of titles, and then at that point I guess we got off on that. What was the rest of that?
Oh no, so I have VAs that don't necessarily always have like set tasks, so I give them projects to do. And so I pay one of my VAs to create modules for me. So he finds courses that he thinks that I should take or he wants me to learn about, and then he puts them into a spreadsheet, usually a month at a time, and then I go through and take all those courses. And so there's a system to hold me more accountable and increase the chance that I do it, where I have to send him a review video every other day of what I'm doing. And so me knowing that I have to send the video makes me, it just means I do the work more.
That's cool. Just
Jack,
to create motivation.
Do you use when you train your VAs, do you send them a video and just show them the process as you're going through it?
Yeah.
And how they want it, or how you want it done?
Yeah. Yeah, my philosophy with VAs is that I don't want somebody who has a lot of experience. I want somebody who follows instructions, because I can teach them how to do anything. So why should I pay for somebody who is going to ignore what I tell them to do when I could show them exactly what to do and then they're going to follow through?
We don't want thinkers. We want doers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but at the same time, like, I say that, but my VA is like, whenever they have something they want to recommend or like advise me on, I listen to them and I usually incorporate that. And I just coincidentally have relationships that are close enough with them that they feel really comfortable sharing any insight they have or any recommendations or advice. And that's why, like, I think one of the reasons for that is I often pay them for their opinion. Like, for example, like I could make a list of 30 courses that I want to learn. Like, I know I could do that. There's no problem with that at all. But for me, it's more incentivizing to pay somebody kind of close to me to be like, okay, what do they think? And like, I'm paying my VA for his opinion in that sense. But I, make a video saying, hey, this is exactly what I want you to do. I want you to make this list and you to pick these things. And that's how I train them to do that. Although Axel is actually, he doesn't really need that much. It depends on the task, because sometimes I just like the magic of VAs for me is being able to send a text on WhatsApp and then stuff happens. Like, I can just have an idea somewhere and I'm like, oh, okay, text it, and then boom, like somebody does something in Morocco or it's crazy.
Here's my strategy, and you guys tell me what you think. So I've been selling physically on eBay for a long time. So my limits are sky high. I mean, I've got the 1,000 item store subscription.
How long have you been selling?
Full time for about 2 years without a regular job, and serious for about 5 years. But I did it while I was working my regular job and eBay and all that at the same time. But I've got my eBay account built up. The limits are sky high. I'll never reach those limits. But what I'm trying to do is take my 1,000 item store and start filling it with drop shipping items and move out my physical inventory, or just sell out of my thrift store items and all that stuff. So that the 1,000 item eBay store becomes 100% drop ship items with the high limits, so I can do multi-quantity and all that. And then I'm going to start another eBay and do all my physical selling on another account and build that one up.
Are you mimicking the products that you were physically selling onto the automatic platform?
No.
No, you're
No,
not. Similar niches.
The physical items are thrifted items or stuff that I buy that are one-offs pretty much. But I've got access to wholesalers and it's replenishable items. So, I mean, I'm thinking if I can get 1,000 items listed that I know for a fact I can get over and over and over again, then that one store should produce money, and then I can start a fresh eBay store and just redo everything I did to build the first one up. That makes sense? Maybe not.
What do you know about the drop shipping flag?
It hasn't affected me. That's all I know.
Okay. There's a couple of things that you really
I don't have out of
should
stocks.
know. So there's two main ways that we perceive. I say we. I'm just saying like the internet in general perceives that drop shippers get flagged. But first off, let me take a step back. Like the dropshipping flag, it very much is real. eBay has a flag that they place on accounts that they perceive are dropshipping. This flag drastically reduces the amount of traffic going to all of your listings on the account. So essentially the way that it works is all items on eBay are either marked as being sold by a dropshipper or a not dropshipper. Whenever a user searches for something, all non-dropshipper items will show up first. eBay will only show dropshipper items when there are no non-dropshipper items to show. Okay, so this is why it reduces your traffic so much. It's not like eBay places the flag and then it mathematically is like, okay, we're only going to give them 5% of their traffic. That's not what happens. They place the flag, and then that means that you are affected by competition much more than you are when you're not flagged, because you will be placed after everybody else who isn't flagged. Okay, this is definitely real. The debatable thing is how eBay goes about flagging you. So there are two main ways, and that is through the API link and through item location mismatch. So eBay can see where you've been shipping your items from. And as a physical seller, it's almost always the exact same place. So you say you're based in New York, eBay looks at your tracking numbers, they're all coming out of New York. All right, good. Whereas when you're drop shipping, you may think that you're, like, say that you're using Walmart, for example, they have multiple sourcing warehouses. So you can look at the tracking, or eBay can look at the tracking and see, okay, sometimes it comes out of New Jersey, sometimes it comes out of Nevada. That, like, you can't have multiple locations. That essentially causes eBay to flag you. And then the other debatable thing is the API flag. There's a lot of people who will no longer use any drop shipping because they believe that they won't use any drop shipping software because linking the drop shipping software to your account has a risk of causing one of these flags. So if you're trying to get into drop shipping, especially as a person who already has a physical store, it's really important that you understand this flag, because there's some things that you can do to make it less likely that you're going to be flagged. The most noticeable thing is to use a service like Blue Care Express, which anonymizes your tracking numbers. So you can convert all of your tracking numbers into a Blue Care Express tracking number, and this removes eBay's ability to see where the package came from. So it doesn't matter if it comes from California one week and then the next week comes from like New York, because eBay only sees where it was delivered to if you convert it to using this Blue Care Express service. So I strongly encourage you to research the Blue Care Express service, because item location mismatch is a real thing. That's something that eBay has talked about, and it's also something that physical sellers have gotten drop shipping flagged for and then been like, what the fuck, we're not drop shipping, because for whatever reason they failed this item location mismatch thing. Whereas the API thing is a bit more debatable.
Maybe I got very lucky, and maybe this is why my account hasn't been touched yet, is because I've been an FBA seller for 3 years before doing drop shipping. And I used a service called Joe Lister, which took all of my used textbooks, and my textbooks were in different Amazon warehouses, and I used Amazon's multi-channel fulfillment. So when I sell a textbook on eBay, that textbook could come from any one of them, wherever that book is resting at in Amazon's system. It could be in Illinois, it could be in California, it could be in Florida. Wherever it's resting, then that's where it's coming from. So the address is always different. Maybe that's why I've been lucky not to have, so far, knock on wood, that I haven't gotten the dreaded flag yet.
In theory, could it be fixed by every time you get a delivery, having a system that looks at the tracking number, can find out which location it's initially shipping from, and then it assesses if your product is actually saying it's from there, and then just changing the direct, like, where it's coming from?
Yeah, that's essentially. So it all depends on how eBay identifies where your item is coming from. Because if it is looking at your tracking numbers, then it can see the origination. So that's why the Blue Care Express thing works, because Blue Care Express, like, so I can summarize it really quickly. You have a tracking number from UPS or FedEx or Amazon. You upload it to Blue Care Express. Blue Care Express converts it to a Blue Care Express tracking number. eBay accepts Blue Care Express tracking numbers. It shows the delivery, it shows everything your UPS tracking number does, except it doesn't show where it originally came from. For whatever reason, it makes that, like, that information more inconvenient to see.
Let me throw this at you. As a physical seller, I live in Tennessee, but I do not have. I put Nashville as my location.
You're the only 10 I see.
But even if the item origination mismatch, whatever it is, if that's a thing, it seems like when somebody looks at my listings, it says item is coming from Nashville, even though I don't live in Nashville, and I ship all my stuff out of a town 200 miles away in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I just like having Nashville because, well, I mean, I don't know why, but I've never had my physical location match what it says where the item location is on eBay.
Well, that's
it. And you haven't had any problems?
And I've never had a problem with traffic. I mean, it's been pretty steady. So, and my wholesalers are all, the ones I use are in Tennessee. So, I mean, if I do have to have them ship something for me, it still originates from Tennessee. It may not be the exact city where,
that's
you know,
probably
my base store says.
Close enough, though. Because, like, postage-wise, if it's still shipping out of Tennessee, that's not going to affect the delivery times really much, or that much. The problems that eBay has is, like, because buyers, myself included, will go to eBay and we'll look at listings, and then we'll be like, all right, I live in Virginia. I am picking between an item for sale in California or New York. I'm going to buy the one in New York because it's going to show up the next day that the person ships it. Whereas if it's like one extreme end of New York or the other end, it doesn't matter. But the difference between New York and California is really big. So there's probably some kind of threshold for eBay. It might have something to do with the mailing zones. Because, like, I don't know if you guys know how, like, USPS and FedEx and that kind of thing work. But there's zones. So zone 1 means that you're traveling as little distance as possible. It's going to show up like the next day. Whereas zone 6 means it's like as far as it can be in the US. So, like, it's relative to where you are and where you're shipping from. Zone 6 isn't a certain geographical location. It's an amount of distance away from the origin. So with eBay and the item location mismatch, in your case, it might not matter because you're still in the same state. As far as eBay is concerned, like, yeah, maybe the exact town isn't right, but that's not a big enough difference to matter. Whereas if...
Well, I normally hit my handling times or delivery dates, you know, so I think it should be okay, hopefully, but I definitely don't want to get flagged.
Yeah, as long as you're educating yourself about it, then, like, that's really all you can do.
Here, Jack, were you trying to encourage Brian here to be extra diligent on his current eBay account that he knows is stable because it could be flagged if he starts trying to automate it?
Yeah.
And you're recommending potentially to use another eBay account from the get-go? Is that, at least that's what I was getting across. Is that right?
Trying to encourage him to look into Blue Care Express to decrease the chance of getting flagged. As far as I understand, if you're trying to prevent a flag, the most likely, and again, this is all guesswork. We don't really know anything for sure. But we do know, like, eBay has stated that item location mismatch is a real thing, whereas the API thing is kind of debatable. So what I'm trying to encourage is that to look into the tracking number thing and using a service like Blue Care Express, because it's something that's really simple and it's super cheap. I think it's like 5 cents.
So Brian, I like you were a physical seller for 5 years, 2 years in it full time. That's really cool. The margins are going to be a lot better than with the automatic stuff, right? You know, like drop shipping is worse. how much does it end up costing you in, like, fees and stuff like that to ship things? Like, do you find that it's so unpredictable, or have you got so used to it that you have a system for going, this is the category of it, I know this is always going to cost this much in tax and this much in shipping? Do you have a system for that?
Are you talking about physical products, or are you talking about the drop ship products?
For the physical, yeah. Like, and if you get some from the thrift shop, do you always know what it's going to end up being in delivery and tax?
Pretty much. I mean,
Nice one.
Yeah, I mean, I always, of course, I sell on Amazon too, and they take 30%. So I kind of treat my eBay the same way. If there's not enough margin in it, then I just pass on it. I mean, you can buy stuff for $1 and sell it for 10, and you might make $1.50, but I'm past the point of all, small stuff. Even if I had to pay up and pay $10 for something and sell it for 80 or 100, I mean, if it's not huge and I can ship it for relatively cheap, then I always know I'm going to make money. I've got an Excel or Google Sheets spreadsheet that I can put all my info in, the buy price and the sale price and the PayPal fees, eBay fees, and the ad fees or promoted listing fees and all that. And that's something I've done this year, and it's really helped me know exactly how much profit I'm making on items, because you learn once you know your numbers that some of the stuff ain't worth the time it took you to list it and ship it and buy it and clean it and answer 2 questions about it. And, so really looking for the higher margin things. And the one-off stuff goes on eBay and it goes on Mercari. And if it sells on one or the other, then I got to go back and delete it off of, whichever one is still available.
The value disparity. Is there any categories that you would refuse to ship for physical that you are now considering for automatic stuff because you have better ease of processing?
Man, I'll sell anything that I can make money on. The categories do not mean anything, and I know Jack's talked about getting into high dollar items like $1,000 items. You can drop ship it and
or whatever price range they're at. Do you find that, or what do you think your margins are going to be at for the drop shipping versus your physical? Like, what sort of margins were you working with before?
I'd have to look at it's definitely not much, but on a replenishable item, if I can profit $5 to $10 off of a replenishable item, I'm good with it, because I'll list multi quantities and I'll hit the singles and make $5 here, $5 here, $5 here. But then one day they pop up and somebody buys 10 at once, and the shipping's the same and the fees, are a little higher, but it's like, yeah, Jack knows what I'm talking about. It's just when you hit them multi-quantity orders, I mean, that's when it really gets good. And I mean, it's just a matter, to me, when I first started thinking about drop shipping, I saw Jack doing the bulk stuff, and I started following him, and I'm like, oh my God, yes, I'm going to do what he's doing, because I can use all my wholesalers to do I can replicate what he's doing with my items, right?
Yeah.
But of course, doing bulk like that, way too risky for me, because I have to have this money to pay my bills and my child support. So that comes first. But
yes.
I love it. I love the drop shipping. I love physical selling. Amazon FBA. You can do FBA. I do FBA and merchant fulfilled. Do a little bit of print on demand stuff. I've got a separate eBay store with just crappy designs I put up. And I've sold a few of them, which to me is like free money doing the print on demand stuff. But Mercari is awesome for shipping heavy stuff, big stuff, because the shipping.
And Mercari eats some of the shipping costs for heavy items. Whereas for cheaper, for lighter items, it's more expensive to use Mercari than to ship yourself. Whereas for heavier items, Mercari eats like a percentage of that. It's cheaper for the customer. By the way, Jamie, just to go back to what you were saying about shipping cost,
yes,
it's important to understand the difference between a first-class package and a priority mail package, because a first class package will arrive in 2 to 5 business days, and at the most expensive, like say that you're shipping it from the East Coast to the West Coast, it's going to be $4. That's as expensive as it gets. The qualification for first class packages is that they have to be less than like 16 ounces, I think, 13 ounces, something like that. It's around a pound. So anything more than that then can become really expensive depending on where it's going. But anything less than that, it doesn't really matter where it's going. It's only going to vary by like $1 or $2. But if you have a 10-pound item, then you shipping that to California could cost 2 or 3 times as much money as you shipping it to just a state right next to you. So there are people who do physical resale who recommend that you only ship lightweight items.
Right. Thanks for noting all that. I didn't know if there's necessarily like an exact way to know the formula for how much every shipping fee is going to be dependent, but it does seem that it is a formula that can be assessed based off knowing where it's going to go and knowing the weight of the item, as well as the obscurity of it. Obviously, it's like a long rod; it's going to be more awkward to post, and so it will be, off price rise versus all the other products. But just out of curiosity, there, like let's say it is a big hole that you're shipping and stuff. How do you accommodate for that? I'm going to ask you, Brad, because you've done physical sales, so you've actually said things. Is there a difference in price for like obscure like items like long rods or something?
So it's about metric, like total. Depending on the service you're using to ship the item, it's about the total dimensions of the item. So if it's really long, and that total dimension goes over the threshold, then it becomes more expensive. I don't remember what the classification is. I can show it though. It's called an irregular package if it's super heavy or one of the dimensions is past like a certain
70 inches.
70
I think it's 70 inches.
70 inches. No.
Like a fishing rod or something might be an example of that.
But if you're shipping on eBay, I mean, I feel when I first started, I feel like I lost a lot of money because I never even looked at the FedEx rates. I was just going with eBay's pricing through USPS, and then I started looking at FedEx. And I mean, if you can do Smart Post, you can ship a lot cheaper. I mean, I'm not sure where you're at, but something FedEx Smart Post is going to ship cheaper than US Priority Mail. But it's weird because sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's not. It just all depends on where it's going and all depends on the weight. But if I'm selling something and I know for a fact it's less than 16 ounces, I mean, first class goes anywhere in the United States for $5.04 or something like that. I mean, at the most, you're going to pay $5 to ship anywhere. And I mean, if it's a $20 item, PayPal's going to take their 10%, eBay's going to take their 13%, or no, PayPal's 3%. That's percentages, but FedEx and USPS, and I've looked at the UPS, but the UPS rates haven't been worth my time for what it takes to input the address and get an actual price to ship UPS.
It's very strange to me. America is such a, I'm going to call it like socialistic kind of delivery system with like whenever you don't even have like free healthcare or anything, yet you have an entire system set up to ensure that anyone can get packages across America at dirt cheap prices. That seems real out of place in the market economy that's supposed to be here, but it's a great advantage to take up.
The post office is broke. They have no money, so eventually, I think the post office will be privatized.
Yes, eventually, because ultimately it is no way economically viable as a company.
No, and if you go in any post office in America, you're going to wait for 15, 20 minutes in line if there's more than one person in front of you.
Oh, jeez.
USPS has a super fascinating history because it used to play the role that the CIA plays. Like the U.S. Postal Service in the early 1900s and the 1800s was the government body that investigated like high-level crime. Like it was the U.S. Postal Service. Like it's super fascinating.
They had all the information, like communicative information to utilize to find people. Is that why? Or
I'm not sure, to be honest.
no.
Sorry guys, I have a kind of basic question. So imagine the postman don't find the address that you shipped the item to. Where does the item go?
It goes to the postal office for a period of days, and then it's returned to the sender.
Okay, does the buyer get a notification about it?
It depends. So you can look at the tracking number, and then the tracking number will say that unable to deliver to address, in which case the buyer can see that on eBay. I don't know if there's any kind of automatic process for it though.
Okay, how about if the buyer can he choose to have the item received and stay in the postal office instead of his address?
Yeah, as long as he has identification showing that he is the person that the object is addressed to, then it can be picked up from the postal office or from the FedEx office or the UPS office, depending whichever one was used.
I hope Shopify allows that option too.
It wouldn't matter what platform you're selling on, because it's about the rules of the shipping service provider, not the platform.
Most of the time, I think what happens if there's a problem with the address or they can't deliver it, I think it does go back to their local post office, and I think it does stay there for 2 or 3 days maybe or something before they actually return it to the original sender. Because when people message me and say, hey, I haven't received my package, which eBay doesn't give you any kind of notification that your customer, his item's late, so the only way you find out is by somebody that's mad because their item's not there. I always tell them, you need to check with your local post office, and I'll check with my local post office to see if I can get answers. And I know that my local post office doesn't know any more than I do just by looking online at the track.
Yeah, you call them and they're like, what's the tracking number? And they just look at the tracking number.
They look at the exact same thing that I see,
Yeah.
But if you can tell your customer to go check their post office, it does buy you some time. And a lot of times they will have it at that post office for them to pick up if there was a problem with their address. But I wish eBay would notify the sellers that, hey, this item has had a problem during the shipping process and it's marked delayed. But you don't find that out until, a month later, somebody was like, oh, I never got my item. And I'm like, well, I mean,
Yeah, you have to.
How am I supposed to know that?
You have to be checking yourself in order to notice that, and that's pretty time consuming, especially at scale. Right. Super time consuming. There's a couple tools now that will upload the tracking number and also pull the information that looking up the tracking number provides. So then in like a column next to your order history, it'll input HTML there that shows you like, oh, it's expected to be delivered on this day, or oh, there's a delivery exception, and it makes that in big bold red letters, so you don't have to manually notice. There are options that will make this easier to see yourself when you're just looking over your order history.
Funny story about shipping. Someone told me yesterday that there was a delay in the shipping of an item, and it took 3 months instead of 20 days to arrive.
Jeez.
But it did arrive after 3 months.
Was this from China?
That's service there.
Probably, yes.
That's cool that it actually showed up.
Yeah, eventually.
Oh man. I would have forgotten about it by that point.
I've had stuff with the post office here in the United States to show delayed, and it end up taking a month, and it finally, of course, the buyer wants you to refund them. As soon as it's delayed, they want their money. So I always just try to stall them out because they either forget about it or the item actually gets delivered. Because every time that I've refunded, oh, your item's late, let me hurry up and refund you. Just as soon as I refund them, the very next day I get the notification on my phone saying that it was delivered. Because anytime I have problems with the USPS delivering something, you go on their website and you type in the track or paste the tracking number in there, and you can sign up for email and text alerts. So if I get a text on my phone from USPS saying that something got delivered that I know is not mine, then I know it was something that was lost from eBay. And sometimes it takes a week, sometimes it's 2 weeks, and I've had stuff get delivered a month later after, when it was supposed to be delivered anyway.
Oh, wow.
All right, guys, I think I'm going to head out pretty soon. If there's anything anyone wants to address or talk about before, feel free to bring that up now.
Sorry about the audio problems, but I think I got it figured out. I tried to join one last Friday or the Friday before, but I knew I didn't have it right then, so I just bailed out. But Jack, I enjoy your channel. First time I've ever spoke to you, and I appreciate all the info, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And hopefully we'll talk again.
Yeah, I'm here every Friday, man.
Same here.
And nice to meet you, Jeff, and JC, and Zachariah.
Pleasure to meet you too, Brian. Have a great day, and good luck with all your endeavors. Enjoy the nation.
We're trying to make it work. We're trying to make it work. One day at a time. That's all I can do.
Jack, if you're wondering why there isn't a lot of Moroccans watching your live, it's because every Friday Moroccans eat couscous. I don't know if you know it.
I love couscous. Yes, no, that's the big, the big plate with all the couscous and the different meats and vegetables. Oh man, that dish is so good.
It's a tradition. We eat it Fridays, every Friday.
Oh,
so man. That's why there aren't any Moroccans showing. Sorry.
Oh, it's so good. This time is actually not that great for a lot of people in the US because most people who are interested in like online stuff and entrepreneur and resale have day jobs. So like right now they're at work. So there's a lot of logistical things. Like I need to set up a time for a second call that's more accessible to other people, like earlier in the week, later in the day. I'll figure that out in the future. For now, this is what we get.
I was going to ask you if you had a mailing list, if you had an autoresponder or a list that you use. Have you ever done that?
In the beginning, I tried to set it up that way. Like I tried to start it with like figuring out who was interested in a mastermind group and hosting that. And I eventually kind of came to the format that this is, where it's just I just go live every Friday, and then people either join or they don't join, and I just talk about stuff until people join. And like having an email list is super. You can do a lot with that. Like it's some people's whole careers are just creating email lists. It's one of the many things that I need to learn more about and implement into my life. Kind of overwhelming. The more you learn, the more you know you don't know.
Right. Well, we all have different pieces of the puzzle, and that we all have to like, here's my piece. What piece do you have? And then we put it all together, and then that's how we become successful. That's what I believe.
I think. Yes.
It's a good way to think.
Yeah. Back in 2000, I had an autoresponder database of several thousand, and I was involved in the network marketing company at the time that went bust. And that's why I kind of went it all. I was just disgusted. I just went right back into my career. But I let that go, and I never forgave myself, right? Because I had a big list, and whenever I have like there's something, a program coming out or a tool, I could blast that out, broadcast that out to the list, and I would make a couple $100 every time I did that. And it was really foolish for me just to abandon the list. I mean, I really, that was like one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made, was to let that go. But I've always been interested in. I think even today, fast forward 19 years later, I still think that autoresponders, are really a big deal. I mean, I've only mentioned that. I only mentioned that because, like, I just happened to see, like, on my email. I think this is the first time that I've called on one of your Friday calls. It's just like, Jack Pitman is live right now. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me log on. But if I had to notice, like, hey, Jack Pittman's going live in 1 hour, or something like that, then, oh, okay, then I put that on my calendar, or let me, I get a reminder or something. That's cool. Getting a little, I get some more extra not customers, but
yeah, I gotta schedule the calls more and that kind of thing. Like, basically on YouTube, you can schedule a call, or you can schedule a live stream ahead of time.
Right.
And then people, I don't actually know how the notification system works. I think they get a notification when and then when you actually launch. But like in this case, I launched it like 30 minutes before, saying, hey, it starts in 30 minutes. But typically you'd want to be like, okay, in 2 days this starts, give as much time as possible. But I do these every Friday, so. I've
got one more, and I kept forgetting to ask you, but I remember just before the end of your call. Skillshare. So I want to do the Teach Challenge in May. I signed up for the Teach Challenge.
Nice.
For May. Do I have to the Teach Challenge? Because there's a way to get Skillshare for 1 year. Signing up through Jack, you get 2 months. But if you go through the Teach Challenge, then you can extend that another 12 months of free Skillshare.
If you create a course.
So that was my question. So right now I can't. It's still April. It's April 26th. I can't create a course right now. I have to wait until I'm in the Teach Challenge to create the course.
So it's a bit confusing because each challenge lasts for the month, and there's little milestones every week. So it's usually like, okay, create your introduction video. Okay, create your outline and share it. And you have to share it in the group. That's how you get the credit. But to get the free year, you just need to publish the course. So even if you fail to meet all 4 milestones, as long as you enroll in the workshop and you post a link in the discussions to your published course, that's usually all the technical requirements to get the year. So in this case, you have 4 days left for this month. So you could sign up for the April Teach Challenge, make a course, publish it, and get the year. But if you were to publish it on the 1st or the 2nd, then you would need to make sure that you sign up for the May Teach Challenge. If that makes sense.
So it has to be your very first course. So you can't have already had created a course. Is that right?
Yeah. It has to be the first one.
So just don't publish it until you post that.
Yeah. If you publish it and you don't do the workshop, I don't know how Skillshare checks. I know that the workshops are intended for people making their first course, not for people making multiple courses. I participate in the workshops anyway, just to get some traffic and some interactions with the other instructors, but I'm not eligible for any of the rewards anymore.
Right. Okay. I just didn't want to jinx myself and get too far ahead and start creating courses and then not be eligible for that year.
Yeah. So you have to look at it changes a little bit. Sometimes they have more or less requirements, but they almost always do something like that, where if you participate in the workshop and you publish a course and you share it by the end of the due date, then you get the free year. And say that you participate in the workshop and you fail to publish a course, you can just enroll in the next workshop. It doesn't matter.
I see. That's good. Good thing to have.
All right, guys. I'm gonna head out now.
All right.
Ciao.
Nice.
Farewell, everyone.
Ciao, Jack. See you next
Zachariah,
Friday.
B, Jeff, and Jamie.
Bye, boys.